A wonderful morning to our viewers across the world. It's Ayo Adams on the sports segment of the weekend show. It's been an exciting week. Almost sports, the sport is in its break season, but now we have a couple of things going on in the football world. We have the transfer window and buzzing and players moving from side to side. But today we're laying more focus. We're going to tennis, and we're going to the Wimbledon when the grass season, talking about one of the biggest tennis tournaments, the Grand Slam. It's the third Grand Slam of the year. We've had some groundbreaking and mouth-watering encounter from the world number ones to the top-ranked players to the seeded players to the unseeded players, knocking out some top champs. We had Coco Gauff, who was in there last year, who has been knocked out in the first round. We also had Andy Murray knocked out by Stefanos Tsitsipas yesterday after their match was abandoned, suspended when it started. So right here in the studio, I have with me, he's a familiar face. You probably have been seeing him on air. You probably have been seeing him virtually. I'm in the studio with Chibuzo Ibe. He's a sport analyst and a tennis enthusiast. Good morning, Chibuzo.
Hi, Adam.
Glad to have you here in Abuja.
Thank you for having me.
How does it feel being in the capital here as opposed to Lagos?
Well, at least the view is different for once. I mean, I have this spotlight shining on me, and it's not like what I'm used to when I'm talking from the comfort of my home.
Okay.
But I mean, it's nice to be here.
All right, then nice to have you here. So then let's get straight down to business. Wimbledon started a couple of days ago, and it's been exciting. It's been interesting right from the very get-go. Even from the first round of pairings, we knew that we had blockbuster matches, awaiting us in the opening rounds. And so let's just start with the Stefanos Tsitsipas match against Andy. I think for so far it's been one of the longest match we've seen.
Yeah.
And then the amount of tenacity that it came with, a home favorite and also a player that the fan love in Stefanos Tsitsipas, having defeating Dominic Thiem in round one, now coming to round two and defeating a former Wimbledon champion. How would you rate the first set of rounds, round 1, 2, 3 so far?
Okay, I think just like you've rightly said, it's been blockbuster match after blockbuster match. I mean, and you don't expect anything less. I mean, this is the third Grand Slam of the year, and everybody is looking to be the top shot, or at least start at this point. The season is already coming to an end, and everybody's looking to make a name for themselves. So and it's a no-brainer that these blockbuster matches are going to happen. And just like you rightly said, the match yesterday with Sir Andy Murray and Tsitsipas, you're literally playing against a home favorite. And this is just not you playing a match alone. This is you playing against the crowd. So for him and Tsitsipas has not been known to be exactly very good at Wimbledon. Yeah. In fact, he has never made it past.
Probably his poorest surface.
Exactly. He has never made it past the fourth round. So for him to have dug deep, fought against Murray, fought against the crowd to get that win, I really think that he probably has it in him to get past this round that has eluded him over the years. And his match against Dominic Thiem, Thiem is someone whom I think he still has a lot left in him. I don't know when he's going to, resuscitate himself back and get back to the form that he used to, but I really do hope to see, because what I saw in that match was, like the old time, it reminded me of the old time Thiem. So I would really love to, see how things go from here.
All right. Talking about another blockbuster game that happened, but it was quite easy peasy. Was Novak Djokovic and Stan Wawrinka. A friend of mine was telling me yesterday, like, this is too easy. This is too easy, 3 straight sets. And to talk about a former Grand Slam champion, to also talk about a player who has defeated Novak a couple of times, is it that Novak is too super powerful, or they just respect him too much?
I think at this point, I have literally used every adjective there is to describe, Djokovic and what he can bring to tennis. But, the likes of Wawrinka, these are people who are gradually fading out. I mean, he just recovered from an injury, and it has not been easy for him. And tennis is something week in, week out. If you're not putting in this effort, it's not just going to come to you. So the Stan Wawrinka that in fact I called that match a demolition. That is not a match.
Even he predicted it before the match. I think he played the match to fulfill righteousness, basically.
Sure. This is not like the Wawrinka of 2013, 2014,
had that massive run.
Exactly. So you could see that, his pace to get to balls are no longer what they used to be. His shots, yeah, they are there, but if you don't have that court coverage, I mean, there's literally nothing you can do. and I think that is starting to elude him at this time.
All right, so let's move to the WTA women, and we have the big three still on course. We have Iga Swiatek. She just like Stefano Tsitsipas haven't also gotten past the fourth round. We have Arina Sabalenka, who she's when she's in her stride, nobody can stop her. And we have the defending champion in Rybakina.
Yeah.
Looking at three of them, Caroline Garcia got knocked out yesterday. Now looking at, and Ons Jabeur is still on tour, but looking at the three of them, they're now the proclaimed big three. I don't know if Ons Jabeur will find a way to squeeze herself in there somehow. Maybe if she wins a slam, maybe we can fit that in there. But looking at this big three, do you think Rybakina can retain a title, or do you see anybody usurping her this time around?
Okay, for me at this point, Swiatek, Sabalenka, and Rybakina, I think the three of them, I think they are the three favorites to win as it is, because these are people Ariana won Australian, and then Iga has taken play. So Rybakina did take Wimbledon last year. I don't know if she will retain her title or not, but I mean, Federer watched her match, which is a booster. I mean, if I will use that as a runaway for me if Federer watched my match. So I think they are all on that path. But I think for me personally, if there's anybody whom I'm standing behind, it will be Sabalenka, because I know what she has been through this past couple of years. I mean, she had a path with her dad to be world #1 by the time that she's 25, and then
she's 25.
Her dad, she just turned 25. Her dad has passed, and she's world #2, which is not so shabby. And then she has a Grand Slam that she wanted. So I would actually like to see, off of, maybe it's an emotional thing for me now, because I'm used to seeing her lose a match by double faults to winning matches by aces now. So I love what she's currently doing, and I would love to see her get another title. I don't know.
All right,
that's a personal thing.
That's a personal thing. And head held up. We'll wait to see how Sabalenka can come out of this triumph, if she'll be able to take another Grand Slam title. And we'll wait to see if Iga Swiatek will take, a prowess from clay and bring it to grass. Well, Rybakina is one who has the title, and she's the one holding it firmly. But now finally, let's move to our final discussion of the day with the tennis championship. We want us to talk about the Nigerian Tennis Federation and the emergence of talent. Tennis is one of the few sports in Nigeria that has not managed to break into global sports. Apart from Unduka Odizo, who went as far as the fourth round in 1983 Wimbledon, we've really not had anybody in tennis get into that level in global tennis. But amongst, in the grassroots in Nigeria, we've had a number of young stars, who have been around, Onyinlomo Quadri Barakat, and then we have Mary Love Edwards, and then there's also Sylvester too. But these two ladies, Barakat is ranked was ranked highest in the WTA women in Nigeria, and we also have Mary Edwards, but spotlight hasn't been on them. So first of all, walk us through the process, we know tennis is an expensive sport. Yeah. You just don't wander into the sport. But developing it in Nigeria, it hasn't been it hasn't been a thing of, that spotlight has been shed on, What has stifled the growth, and what can they do to harness more talent?
Okay, I'm going to just try to give a summary of what I think of tennis so far in Nigeria, and I don't know if this is going to get me in trouble, but I mean, this is history. Yes. So I think the death of tennis started in Nigeria in the 70s or 80s, thereabouts. I can't really recall right now, but it was the day Murtala Muhammad was murdered. Okay. Was the day tennis started. The decadence of tennis started in Nigeria, because Arthur Ashe, one of the biggest names in tennis, had lobbied for Lagos to be used for an exhibition match. And an Australian at the time, the biggest names in tennis were in Nigeria playing on that ground at Lagos Lawn. And, Murtala Muhammad was murdered at the roundabout close to and the military guys invaded that place and literally flogged those superstars out of that arena. And you know, they literally smuggled them out of Nigeria. And this is how, because if that had succeeded, what Atash was looking was to have, you know, challengers, and then maybe subsequently, you know, 250 ATP events will be played in Nigeria, but you know, that did not succeed. So that is where, you know, things started going down. Because, and then, you know, talking about how capital intense tennis is, we all know how tennis is something that literally takes sponsorship. You have all these people, you know, you have communities, you have Adidas, Nike, these top brands sponsor these athletes, and then, you know, there's some, you know, arrangement that is being made. So we don't have that here, and that is because even these tournaments, like right now, even at least up to 2020, I know that there was it was initially called Lagos Governors Cup, because it was sponsored by the governor, and then later the name was moved to Lagos Open. But I think the influx of COVID actually affected affected that tournament, because it's no longer being played post-COVID. So I think this is also me using this means as an avenue to appeal to the Lagos State government, governor as well, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, to please, you know, let these things be resuscitated back. Let them be brought back. I mean, COVID is over. Every other tournament around the world is currently being held. It would be nice for tennis to, you know, and this tournament is called ITF 25.
Yeah.
It has brought the likes of Davidovich Fokina, Rindonich Arthur, Bonachorich, and these are people ranked in top 100 right now in the world. So if this is a grassroots tournament that actually, because, you know, by watching, by, you know, our local, you know, seeing these things, they're able to also have that ginger of some sort to, you know, want to pursue these things, and maybe we can start, you know, resuscitating tennis again in Nigeria. But from what it's what, I think this is, you know, what I have to say about. And lastly, Oyinlomo Quadri, I have been opportune to share a court with her. She plays amazing.
She does. She does.
And she was in Marrakesh, I think, very recently,
yeah,
where she played a tournament. And, you know, it'd be nice to see these girls or these young people grow in this sport. So I would really like for our environment to create more enabling place for young people to pick up these things in school, you know, or in all these preparatory places that, you know, prepares kids for things ahead, so that we can, you know, start aligning and start, you know, being where the world is at in the world of tennis.
Wow, you couldn't have put it more perfectly, Chibuzo. And I think I'll still bring you on back before Wimbledon is over, so we can still dive in deep more. And I want us to shed more light on this particular topic. So, you know, probably we'll continue on this particular, where we left it, to pick it up from this
It'd
next
be a
week.
pleasure.
Yeah,
It'd be
and
a
then, you know,
pleasure.
just talk about it. Just like Chibuzo rightly said, you know, creating a more enabling environment is what will bring in more sponsors, is what will bring in more partnerships, is what will bring in more development and growth. I mean, you could see that the NFL Africa has come to Nigeria, BL Africa has come to Nigeria, even FIFA comes to Nigeria for developmental championships. So it's now left in the hands of the administrators of the sport to find a way to improve the structures and you know, the backbone of the sport for us to be able to, you know, do the best that we can with these young ones. Thank you, Chibuzo, for coming.
Thank you for having me.
It was our pleasure. This has been me, Ayo Adams, on the sports segment of the Weekend Show. I'll be seeing you the same time next week. Bye-bye for now.